of the week. It's Wednesday, and y'all get to kick it with the Stoop Kids, the original Stoop Kids ourselves. Maurice Hunt III, Mia G, and Ash Bash. Welcome to the Childish Grownups show. See, it's always gonna break me every time because you never know it's coming. But welcome to the Childish Grownups show, where we talk all things nostalgia, and then we get into our main featured presentation. So we do something similar to movie theaters where we have a few different segments similar to the previews before the movie, and then we get into the movie. So that's what we're here to do. Mia G, Ash Bash, how you ladies doing?
Feeling pretty good. Well rested, I will say. I was very sleepy today. So caught up on some rest. You know, it was a long weekend, but I'm good.
Good.
Am I real rested? No, but I'm feeling good anyway because, I had a pretty good weekend. What can I say? Trucking along.
Yeah. Yeah, and for y'all that are on the YouTube, we have a fourth guest here, or a guest that's a reoccurring guest. My son, he's here. So if y'all hear a little extra ad libs, getting his Migos on, don't pay no mind. Got to bring them in early, teach them the business from the ground up. So, yeah. But here we are. Before we get into it, we must first quickly acknowledge our Stoop Kids. And we did get a comment on our last episode from Rocky 4. It's from Mama C. And she says, I am a Sylvester Stallone fan. I disagree with you guys about Apollo Creed. I think people have to respect people's wishes, even if they don't agree. I think Mrs. Creed and Rocky did not have a relationship due to the fact that Apollo died, and she blamed Rocky, maybe. Okay. Well, I want to say thank you for that comment, Mama C. Mia G, what you think about that?
You know what? I'm not surprised by that at all. It sounds like something that my mother would say. Absolutely. She's very, very big on respecting someone's wishes, regardless, in life and in death. It's
Ash?
a point that she's made more than once, so I'm not surprised by that.
What say you,
In
Ash?
a normal case, I think I agree in that aspect, but not this case. Like, because it could have saved his life. Like, the man would have been alive. You know what I mean? So I'm sorry. I gotta stand on it. I gotta throw in the towel. He's just gonna be mad at me, man. But we gonna be eye of the tiger still. So I gotta throw in the towel to save your life.
Oh, I agree. Mama would get mad at me because no ma'am.
Yeah, that's why I was like, why would see all due respect? But nah, not in this scenario. In this scenario, your life is at hand, and it's like you want me honor your wishes for what? You know what I mean? It reminds me of the Rush Hour scene where James Carter was talking about how he lost his father, and he was like, man, where's the honor in that? You know what I mean? His partner's supposed to be there. Whereas, it's just one of those things you kind of so for me, it was like, nah, if that is a regret you'll live with forever, where, you'd be like, it's a direct correlation to say, if I had done this would have changed. It's one of the hardest things to probably live with if you're Rocky, you know what I mean? So, but nonetheless, thank you, Mama C. I'm glad that you're indifferent. We need a vast opinions here from all over the scope, all over the globe. So thank you for that. It's time for our childish grown-up moment. I'm gonna throw the ball in your court first, Ash Bash.
Yeah, so I got two this week. I was scrolling on IG and I came across a 80s baby page, and they had Punk'd episodes on there with Ashton Kutcher. And it just took me all the way back, man. Ashton Kutcher don't get enough flowers for that show and what that opened up for what we have now, just different shows from the Yo Mamas. Remember, all that started just coming out.
Yep.
Dude, I was watching these clips. I saw one with Usher, Justin Timberlake, and I was just like, it was so good. He was just come out and they like so bad they got, but it just took me back. We used to always look forward to watching Punked. I know it got to a point where he wasn't in the episodes anymore, and I was kind of like, dang, I want to see where he
Yeah,
come
yeah,
out.
yeah.
So it just took me back, man. Shout out to Ashton Kutcher for that for sure. They don't talk
Shot.
about that enough.
And he authentically, I think he authentically brought in an urban base. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like we all like oh we like some of us watch '70s show or whatever, but like we wasn't like necessarily gonna point him out as being a fan, but him
Hmm.
doing that, he authentically built a fan base outside of his what is expected demographic because he definitely made a fan out of us. So I just wanted to throw that piece in there.
Yeah, I like Ashton. Maybe one day down the line we'll have a movie of his or
I
something.
know which one you're talking about.
Who
Well,
knows?
he got a couple of he got one that's not good, but it would be a great conversation though.
Yeah, he got
It's in Mia's lane too. It's in Mia's lane. She know the movie I'm talking about too.
he
I
got quite a few I like actually. I like his comedy. I think he picks he picks good roles that fits what he does. But and then my second one, man, went to Walmart yesterday with the fam and was kind of hungry. So, I'm like, let me go over to the deli. Let me just see what they have to offer. And so got some of that Walmart chicken, bro.
Oh
Mia,
man, the
this is
Walmart chicken,
super nostalgic. Like our mom used to take us to Walmart and we would always go over there. Started with some samples. The boneless joints, got the barbecue plethora, but we always got like the boneless barbecue. And so that's what I got. I was like, and I was telling Tyler, I was like, dude, our mom used to bring us here all the time. Like,
bro.
it was so nostalgic for me. It came in the little same
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
container.
yeah. The
You know
little
what I'm
Chinese
saying? No,
plastic. Yeah.
you ain't got no sauce with it. You just eating straight chicken. But it was so fulfilling.
Oh
I,
man.
I had to break it up on the pie, man. The
Oh.
Walmart chicken is classic in our household.
Oh man, I can't believe you brought that back. Oh, you just took me back to the Tennessee, the Walmart off
Yeah.
Clarksville. Like, oh man, goodness
Auntie Nikki,
gracious.
she worked over there, gave the extra
Yeah,
boneless on
that's
top
what
of
I'm
the,
saying. Stack it up, dude. You couldn't even close it, man. Ah, you know about that Walmart chicken meal?
No, I have never had Walmart chicken. We still heavily eat Kroger chicken.
And Kroger is good too. Not gonna lie.
But that's not nostalgia. That's like to this day.
To this day.
To this
But
ah,
that's all I got though.
baby.
Okay. What about you, Mia?
Okay, I have like one and a half. So I don't know if this is necessarily like childish, but it was like a proud mama moment for me. So Mama C will tell you, she always says like my favorite song when I was little was Elevators by Outkast. And I used to ask her to play it all the time, but I called it the Cadillac song. So one day, like I was just in the car with my daughter Jovi, and I introduced her to that song, and I played AT Aliens, and now like on the way to school, she like asked to hear AT Aliens, and we just be in the car, throw your hands in the air, wave them like you just don't care, and I was just like, that is such a nostalgic feeling for me, but like passing it down.
Hey, you on the right track, man. You giving the gems out here to the babies out here.
I gotta give her some culture.
Yeah.
And then the other one is so I was on TikTok watching videos from the Millennium Tour, and I, y'all, the consensus is that Bow Wow probably should have went on tour by himself. Like,
Ah.
don't get me wrong. I watched performances from everybody who was there. Bow Wow showed up and showed out. He's the only one who took this thing seriously.
Did you
And
say I sent you some clips? Did you see any of the clips I sent you recently on IG, Mia?
I haven't been on an IG in
Okay.
forever. I haven't been on there all month. I'm about to hop back on there on the first, but so I'll see them. But no, I haven't seen them. But I got thoughts, but I'm gonna save those for after recording.
Yeah, I seen a few of them, but the Bow Wow definitely like the Harlem shaking. You know, we will have a Bow Wow movie. Like it'll be in the mix. While we talk about Bow Wow, have y'all heard his new song with Chris Brown?
Mm.
Okay,
Of course.
it's called Use Me, but
Mhm.
Oh, period. Okay.
but Bow Wow, when you talk about the Millennial Tour and Bow, like his showmanship has always been on point.
Mhm.
He is definitely by far somebody I would want to meet, hang with for 24 hours, kick it, laugh, whatever. Like, bro, this is Bow, dude. Like, I love Bow Wow, bro. Like,
Bow
I
Wow
love
came
him.
up in a time of artist development.
Yes, important to note.
Yeah, Bow Wow was always my guy for sure.
Man,
They don't make them like that no more.
no,
But,
no, no, no,
but
no.
um, oh my goodness, I was so obsessed with Bow Wow before B2K came out, and then I was obsessed with B2K. And I did go to the first two Millennium Tours, but
Ah, okay.
two is my limit for that. I
Mm.
gotta let them have it after two.
Any close seconds after Bow, you think, from the clips?
You know what's crazy? Boosie.
Oh, Boosie on the tour?
Yeah, he's on the tour. It don't fit. It don't fit. But he's got energy.
Yeah,
The problematic king that he is,
Yes.
he brings the energy.
I've grown to like Boosie a lot in this era.
he got them. He got some box now.
We grew up
So
on, as soon as you hear like the old songs, it's like, bro, a staple in Kentucky. You know what I mean? Yeah. For me, kind of a little bit of a light pack this week as far as Childish Grown Up moment. It was like right before we got here. So we've shopped at Aldi, but I haven't shopped there in a while. I was going in there, and like as soon as I walked in, there's a smell in Aldi that is so specific. I walked in because I hadn't been there, and when I smelled it, it took me all the way back to being a kid where Aldi was like such a different store. We didn't know how to gauge what kind of store this is because you went to like Kroger's or Walmart's, Kmart's or Myers, whatever, and the floors were like, white and light and shiny. You go into Aldi and it's like brown. It's almost like it's peeled up or something. And so I remember that, and then like people having groceries in boxes and the paper bags, and just that moment when I walked in today just took me back. Like, yo, I remember how different Aldi seemed as a kid. It's normal for us now, but like as a kid, I used to be like, what kind of store is this? Like I was like, is this a factory grocery store? I did not know. Like I genuinely didn't know. So I don't know. I walked in just normal, trying to get my quick little biddles. And then as soon as I smelled the smell and started walking, I started smiling, and I literally just did like a raven having a vision scene. It just took me back just like that. So that's like my little Childish Grown Up. It's a little light, but it was definitely something that took me back there. And
yeah,
that
I used
is,
to work at Aldi, so
yeah, having
back in the day.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was the upgrade from the Mickey D's, right?
Oh yeah. Me and my best friend now, I met her working at Aldi, and we used to compete who can scan the fastest because we had our numbers at the end. So we was out there getting it, gripping because we played ball, so still putting the canned goods nice and neat in the cart. It wasn't no slop job. So but yeah.
Oh man, so who's getting the dubs?
It was back and forth. She was a little faster. Teresa's. She's like 4 foot. She's just quick.
She was Millie rocking it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely on the millie.
What'd you say? Was you about to say something? Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh,
Mm-mm.
okay. Well, yeah, those are our Childish Grown Up moments. If y'all have Childish Grown Up moments, y'all can reach out childishgrownups3@gmail.com or hit us up on Instagram, Childish Grownups. Ash.
Sure. Well, it is time for the Flash with Ash. So I have one trivia for y'all, and then I have a this or that actor edition. So we'll go ahead and get right into it. This question is from Seinfeld. Again, y'all the Seinfeld crew. So let me
Yes.
go ahead and
I'm feeling
throw
good.
it out. No multiple choice, okay? So, what surprise license plate does Kramer receive from the Department of Motor Vehicles?
I know this, but I'm letting Mia. I'm deep in these streets with this.
I don't know.
All right. We're gonna go with Ass Man, Steve.
That's,
What'd you say?
that's correct.
Okay, as soon as you said it, I remembered. Like it came back to me because I remember. But I would have never guessed it or like thought of it. But as soon as
Mhm.
you said it, I remember.
Yeah, you I follow like when I got into Seinfeld, I started, I tried to listen to podcasts. Again, need some representation. They're all kind of boring. But I started following some pages and that's kind of kept me like in the loop. And then like Dollar Tree, they have like Seinfeld trivia cards. And so I probably got at least like 90% of them. Like, so yeah.
Okay. When I saw this one, I was like, it's probably gonna be too easy, but it's funny to me, so I wanted to throw it
That's a good one though. That's a good one.
in. Yeah, that's hilarious.
It
But
is though. Yeah.
all right, so let's get into this or that. Loretta Devine or Jennifer Lewis?
Oh, I see what you on. I
How
see what
dare
you on.
you?
I see what you on.
I don't want no trouble.
Ooh.
Playing similar roles, but two different styles completely. Approaches are different to motherhood, grandmotherhood, auntie, ship, whatever. It's it's hard. I'm trying to figure out what credentials because I was gonna see like which one has had more like maybe romantic spots because they both do like the parental thing well. But I'm like who? But I only seen Loretta one time. I feel like I seen.
This is tough because they're both
Tough.
phenomenal, iconic theater girlies. And you know, I love the theater girlies.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but they're so different, but they're both so amazing. I'm trying to decide.
I mean,
Ash,
you
you
can't
know?
lose. Yeah, I got mine.
Well, go ahead. What you got?
I'm going Loretta.
Mm.
I think they're both incredible. Jennifer Lewis, I think Loretta stretches a little more than Jennifer to me. Even though they both take kind of the same roles, the motherly, but like Jennifer is Jennifer. Like it's hard for me to believe she's not Jennifer Lewis in the roles that she's in. So I would just say it's by age though. So I think I'm gonna go Loretta because she just I don't know. It's just a little more stretched there.
I'm gonna have to go with Loretta as well, only because when it comes to like, I'm a musical girly and Dreamgirls is iconic. She was an original Dreamgirls cast member on Broadway, and she made a cameo in the movie. She played Laurel in the original. Um, Something about her voice, but don't get me wrong. Jennifer Lewis is that girl. And if you haven't read her book, The Mother of Black Hollywood, I listened to it on Audible because she narrates it herself and it's amazing. So
Shout out to the celebs narrating their own book that can actually read pretty well. I did. Kevin Hart did a good job as well as Will. So I did enjoy it. That's I might have to check that out. I'm going with Loretta too. I think Ash made some really compelling points. Just the range a little bit. There's a little more, just a little bit more. She's tapped into. So I go Loretta.
Okay. So they out the gate. Okay. All right. So next we have Mekhi Phifer or Bokeem Woodbine.
Ash, why would you ever?
She's
You
killing
tried
it.
to pick some actors and stuff that are not, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I like
That's
that.
where I'm going. Yeah. And it's off acting, you know what I mean? So.
I'm going Bokeem.
Hmm.
Bokeem can play anything. He could play a soldier. He could play a preacher. He can play nerdy. He can play gangster. He can play anything really. Like he's an underrated actor. When it comes to Mekhi, I love him, but we talked about it a little bit on as far as his acting range. We kind of seen like okay, we kind of seen the limit in that movie, even though that was early in his We seen him do some great things in Paid in Full. Like that was probably the peak of his acting that we speak about. But Bokeem can play anything, and he was on The Sopranos, so that helps.
Bias, not
What are you,
sweat.
what are you gonna do?
I'm gonna go with Mekhi Phifer. Um, I love Bokeem Woodbine for a lot of reasons. Love pretty much all of the work of his that I've seen, but I have a more of a connection to a lot of Mekhi Phifer's work. His personality, the way he portrays certain roles, especially like his role in Divergent. If you've seen the Divergent series, I really like that. Like, I love to see us in like sci-fi, fantasy, dystopian future type roles. So I'm always gonna go up for that. I just, that's my guy. I really like Mekhi Phifer. And I love Bokeem Woodbine too, but I'm gonna go with Mekhi Phifer.
Okay. Yeah, both made some great points. I like them both as well. Uh, but I think I gotta go with Makai, man. Just I still look forward to seeing him in something. Like if Bokeem is in there, I know he's gonna kill it. But as far as me looking forward to, like if Makai is on the ticket, I'm like, okay, cool. Let me see what he's gonna do. I'd be hoping that, like you said, he gets that role that we want to see him in. Leading man potentially. We talked about it a little bit, but and like when it comes to love scenes and stuff, like him being like a love interest, it would definitely be more believable to me with Makai. Well, he's older now. We know but
Stupid.
so the looks are a little different.
Stupid.
But and peak Makai was
The
for
boy
sure.
is mine.
Yeah, I was very handsome to me, but
He repped us hard out here, man. He was one of the dark skinned brothers I could appreciate as a young man. I needed that, and they talked about Wesley, but they definitely need to get Makai a little bit more, get a little more sauce for that time, man.
yeah, he has that edge too. Like just that you kind of curious,
Got that
but
gully, you know what I mean?
like, Makai, I just wonder. But anyway, right. So we got Khalil Kane or Alan Payne.
Khalil Kane, what is he from?
Raheem
Oh, Raheem or
G Money.
I'm gonna go Khalil Kane, man.
Okay.
I haven't seen him in as much as Alan Payne. It's funny how that name's rhyme. But Khalil Kane, the work he did on Girlfriends was exceptional. Alone, he just really covered some depth. A wide range for it to be a sitcom at that. That's the most notable thing that I know him from. He may have done some other things, and I would love to see him in one of these films we talk about in the future. But Khalil Kane for me.
Khalil Kane was fine or whatever. He was cute, but I'm gonna have to go with Alan Payne because Blue Hill Avenue and New Jack City and Jason's Lyric and House of Pain, even though I don't really get into the Tyler Perry of it all that much, but like, and I just feel like Khalil Kane did that horror movie with Snoop Dogg, and I just can't forgive him for that. So we're gonna have to go with Alan Payne because Khalil, you tried it real bad, but I think Alan Payne has a little bit more range with the roles that he's played. He's Battle of the Light Skins, but I'll
Yeah.
go.
I always feel like Alan Payne with me is like I like when I see him. I'm happy to see him, but every role just feel like it's something about I don't know. Maybe it's his dialect. It's something that always like, man, come on, man. I don't know, man. Come on.
Yeah.
Everything sounds like that to me with him. But he could get physical. He sells it. But I don't know. It's something about the dialect part of it or something. But no. No doubt. What was you gonna say, Ash?
Yeah, I gotta go with Khalil as well. That girlfriend's role, Darnell, bro, he just killed it so good. And even his little minutes he had in Love Jones, with Nia.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't, like you said. It's not a lot of work out there. You think he was in For
Juice.
Color Girls? Oh, of course.
Yeah. He didn't do
For
much.
Color Girls, he was like the bad guy. I hated him in that, but
There you go.
um, well, I hate that movie. Period. So
Girl, we don't have to talk about it. Can we got to talk about that.
Oh.
we go text. Me and Mia got this thing. We text about bad movies. Like I'll text her randomly and just be like, "Hey, so what did you think about?" So we kind of be chopping it up a little bit.
Did you hit her? Did you hit her with the one that you hit me with that you say you was about to watch?
Well, we talked about that with Wesley,
Oh,
just
okay.
on his looks. But yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
we talk about bad movies. But yeah, I agree. I agree what you said with Alan, bro. Like it's something about him, and I think it is the script. Like just the way that they be writing the script for him. I don't know. It's something about that dialogue though that I think that's making me lean the other way. But I still like him.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so
So
okay.
if either one of y'all seen Bones,
I had, but I don't. It was
I
so
gotta go
long.
back. If hey, don't be. I wouldn't be mad at you if you thought about bringing that in our scary hours.
let me tell y'all something. I would never disrespect my Halloween pick with that.
I feel you.
But if we do like an April Fool's situation, possibly.
Oh,
Oh, April Fools.
didn't even think about that.
Say, man, where was you at? Where your ass was at when we was in the group text? Where your ass was at?
It just came to me.
I know. I thought about this a minute ago, and it slipped my mind that we were coming into April.
No, it's your birthday month too, bro.
Yeah, no, that's good.
All right, Jaleel White or Kel Mitchell?
Kel Mitchell for me.
I gotta go, Jaleel.
Hmm.
People underrate. Of course, we look at Steve Urkel and we're like, oh, okay, whatever. But I think for me, Grown Ups, he did a show after that. It got canceled, but it had like 21 episodes. He was a grown single dude. I would advise anybody to check it out. I think it might still be on Crackle. You could probably find it on YouTube, but it's called Grown Ups. He was kind of playing like a bachelor. He was like kind of being like the attractive, selling the sexy kind of, successful dude. And I believed him. I was like, man, I liked him. I wasn't looking at Urkel at all. I'm like, I believe he's that dude. He had, a white friend that was his neighbor and his wife. It was a cool little show. And I thought he had depth, and I wish he had got to the opportunity to do more. But Kel, when he tried to, I haven't got to see him do a whole lot outside of Keenan and Kel, other than like the one-on-one kind of splashes and moments. But I would have liked to see him be able to get deep in his acting bag. But it's hard because I'm a huge fan. I want it to be Kel. I don't know. That might make me change it up because he means so much to me. I'll come back. Go ahead.
I'm gonna go with Kel as well. But this was tough for me because I would like to see both of them more to really get a better gauge. Like you said, I haven't really seen Kel in much. I would like to see him in maybe not such a comedic role. I think he could probably go on the emotional side a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't really seen Jalil in a lot of things either, so I might check that show you're talking about. So
Oh yeah, you like it.
this one's a tough matchup because I feel like I need to see more for both, really.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna go Kel just off of the nostalgia.
I mean, all I really
Oh,
know of Jaleel White is Family Matters, and that, you know.
who
So
ate the potato salad?
see, I never watched that. My mama told me I need to watch that, but
Yeah. We were about to watch that the other day too.
so that's all I have to reference when it comes to him. But then for Kel, it seems like he was just there my whole childhood, all the stuff that I like all that Kenan and Kel, Good Burger. So that is why I had to go with him. Just the personal preference, I guess.
Nothing wrong with that.
I'm gonna throw that in the chat. The y'all really should. It's a sitcom. Um, it came out in '99. Uh, I'm just gonna throw it in the chat as far as that. But y'all should check it out. Like just give it a good chance. It's got some good humor in it too. It definitely feels like WB UPN days, like this the format of it, like when the '90s sitcoms was going into the 2000s. If y'all remember how things started to look a little different, like when you look
Mm-hmm.
at the Martins and Living Singles, and then you start getting into the Girlfriends, how much more colorful it looked, how it looked a little more new aged.
Hmm.
This show starts to get into that, like and the Hughleys and the Bernie Mac show, the sitcoms that start to get, they look a little newer when they start hitting the early 2000s. This is kind of in that space, but y'all, I'm telling you, I think y'all will enjoy it for what it is. It's an easy watch, and he really carries it. So yeah.
Well, that was all I have for the Flash with Ash today, y'all. The actor edition.
All right. Well, thank you, Ash, for that. That was fun, as always. Mia G, you know what time it is. Don't give it to us.
Okay, so we are talking about 1996 film Harriet the Spy, based off of a novel of the same name by Louise Fitzhugh. Harriet M. Welsh is a spy, but when her friends find her secret notebook, the tables are turned on her. Can she win them back and still keep on going with the spy business? Okay, bear with me because the cast is a lot because there are a lot of characters in this movie that I felt were important and needed to be, included. So, of course, we have the late Michelle Trachtenberg as Harriet M. Welsh, Gregory Smith as Sport, Vanessa Chester as Janie Gibbs, Rosie O'Donnell as Golly, J. Smith Cameron as Mrs. Welsh, Robert Joy as Ben Welsh, Eartha Kitt as Agatha K. Plummer, Charlotte Sullivan as Marianne Hawthorne, Tisha Kim as Rachel Hennessy, Cecily Carroll as Beth Ellen Hansen, Dove Tiefenbach as Boy with the Purple Socks, Nina Shock as Carrie Andrews, Connor David as Pinky Whitehead, Alicia Morrison as Lauren Peters, Don Franks as Harrison Withers. Don Franks. Guess what iconic 80s and 90s sitcom star and voice actor is his daughter?
What's his last name?
Franks, but that's not going to give you anything.
And which character was this?
He was the guy with the cats who loved jazz, who made the
Uh,
bird agent.
Mm,
who?
I have no idea.
Cree Summer is his daughter.
Summer.
Oh,
Cree
you know.
Summer
Oh, I
did the
forgot.
voice
Ash ain't watched the show
of
like that. So
Susie Carmichael from the Rugrats. She was in A Different World. She was,
legendary voice actor.
yeah, she's done a lot. But that's
Oh,
her dad.
wow.
We have Eugene Lipinski as George Waldenstein, Jerry Quigley as Sport's dad, Jackie Richardson as Janie's mom, and Nancy Beatty as Miss Elson. This film was released July 10th, 1996. There was no merchandise other than what we see today for nostalgia purposes, but it
Mm-hmm.
was a it was a it was a thing on the Nickelodeon side.
All right. Well, if y'all are interested in purchasing your notebook, you can always go to your local store and get your notebook and start talking about people. You're welcome to do that. It's available everywhere. All right, so let's do a rewind here. Ash, I'm gonna throw it in your court first. How do you remember this film back then versus now, if you even remember this film? The time has come, the walrus said.
This was a first watch for me. Like I said, I wasn't sure if I seen it before or not, but I don't think I have. So this more like a fast forward for me. Um,
Ha
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think the kid actors did really well. I think it was a fun movie, but it still had moments of hardship. You know, even though they were kids, they still had challenging moments that they had to navigate through. And I really enjoyed it. It definitely took a turn. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that it was going to take a turn. So I really enjoyed this movie. I think this is an amazing pick, Mia G. And thank you. I'm going to have to throw this in rotation.
Yay!
Yay! All right, Mia G. I'm very interested because you had left us on a cliffhanger last week on the influence of this movie, and since you said it, I've been doing everything in my ability to not text in the group chain. What did you mean by that? So now we're here rewinding back for when you seen this movie back in the '90s, or if it was the '90s, and then how it felt watching it this time.
Oh man, so this is one of those movies that I had the orange video cassette um that I used to watch just all the time. This is one of my favorite movies. I don't even know how I came into possession of it. I'm pretty sure my dad probably bought it for me, and it just became a fast favorite. As a kid, I just really related to the Harriet character. Um, she was very observant, very emotional. I was very observant, very emotional. Like after I saw this movie, I went out and bought composition notebooks and I would just write in my little composition notebooks. And I thought I was going to grow up and be a journalist. And I actually came really close to studying journalism. But this movie just really taught me a lot about myself and my emotions and how I process things as a kid because even though it is a children's film, it gets so deep into the themes of like real emotions and how kids are affected by things in a real way, not in a fluffy, you know, kid friendly way, but in a real raw way, which I think I have to thank the 90s for that because you know we was different. But and then I hadn't watched this movie in a really long time. So the rewatch was crazy. And I had a completely different perspective as an adult. And the way that because and we'll get into it when we discuss some of the characters, but there was one really strong feeling I had as a kid with this movie that I completely changed my perspective on the rewatch, especially towards the end of the movie.
Mm. I love when our minds can change.
Mm.
Same as Ash. This is a fast forward because I definitely can't rewind to anything or press play rather. Um, the experience watching this movie, just like I'm a big senses guy. When we talk nostalgia, there's things that are sense triggering things that bring you to time, spaces, and areas, and just seeing certain elements of like the clothing, the vocabulary, the the time usage of what these kids would do in their time, certain freedoms, certain liberties, the school setup. It was so many things those that opened those senses where I was seeing it with my eyes, and then it started making me think about the smell of what that's, and then like the feeling and all that. So I love when I'm looking at nostalgia, I'm looking at things that trigger those senses when watching it. So this movie did that for me. Watching it, I was already enjoying it just for the vibe it was given, and then when it hit another twist, I knew. I said, "Oh yeah, this is this is one of them ones, boy." Because I was like, no way, y'all did that." And when they did that twist, I said, "Oh yeah, this is absolutely a good movie." Like I was already good with just the pacing of it and all that, but when they turned that joint around, I said, "Oh no, dog." So I thoroughly enjoyed this and thoroughly took me back to my childhood. Um, All right, so let's get into a little bit of an overall discussion here. So were you all shocked by a lot of these dark jokes and adult themed jokes, especially for it being Nickelodeon?
I have to say no, but maybe that's just because I had such a great recollection of it from childhood. And I even talk about this with my daughter, who she'll be 8 this she'll be 8 years old this month. Well, next month, this month. Yeah, April, April 21st. She'll be 8.
That's my birthday.
Huh?
That's my birthday.
April 21st? What? Oh Lord, yes,
It's all connected. It's
that's my
all
baby
connected.
girl's birthday.
It's a great date right there.
Ooh, child. Anyway, but and it's just a stark difference between, like, if I show her something like a movie or something we used to watch, and she's like, "You watch stuff about this when you were a kid?" I was like, "Yeah." And it just shows we were different. We were exposed to more adult things. We were just a little bit more mature as kids, I think. So none of that really surprised me. It was the norm, the way adults talked around me, the way we talked, me and my friends, when I was that age. It was very familiar to me.
Hmm. What about you, Ash, watching it this time?
I would agree. I don't think I was surprised. I know there's a lot of things on Nickelodeon that if we were to like look at now, there's so much that is inappropriate.
All
But as
right,
a
we're gonna
kid,
get there.
you're just thinking like, oh, but no, this is some bad shit. uh, but like Mia said, I mean, I think about us as kids outside with our friends. I mean, they might have been like up a grade and they, cussing all type of just,
Oh man, yeah.
it's just, even though we know it's wrong, like
Cussing like whole adults, bro.
nobody went to go tell on them. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
Formulating full sentences, knowing how say, can you spell the word and use it in a sentence? They absolutely could.
absolutely. So yeah, I wasn't surprised. No.
I was watching this because it was Nickelodeon. Not so. There's parts that we obviously know we'll call back to, like, okay, this is inappropriate. Even then, it was, but I was because just one specific thing, like when she talked about the boy with the purple socks. That's when I was like, God, she's like, you should just like hang yourself or just die or something like that. I was like, yo,
Suicide or something.
yeah, I was like, yo, what?
Said,
That's what I was like, bro,
only by my footwear, I would just hang myself.
bro. I was like, dang, dude, like. So it was just like there was a few moments. I didn't write down all the jokes because we don't really do quotes here, but there was just a few things that was very like, even for Nickelodeon, this was like pretty, especially so early. But as far as us growing up in it, we absolutely grew up in it. Like we grew up in that, and as Mia said, we're different because I feel like social media kind of give kids this kind of kids and maybe society gives them like a way to preview things, kind of preview what is it going to be like, what's going on, where to go, where not to go. We didn't have that. So it's like growing up, you watch these movies and shows and you have your own interpretation. And at some point, it's going to be time for you to go outside, go down the street, go grab this, go to the store, go knock on your buddy's house, go sell some cookies. You know what I mean? Like you got to actually get out there and go do it. So you don't have like these type of things. So you need to get used to this vocabulary. You need to get used to these jokes. You need to get used to certain behaviors because you're gonna get out there and it's gonna get tough at moments. So I was surprised, but I'm familiar with it because we're from that era. My next question: did y'all think of Cop and a Half at all when you're watching this?
I didn't, but that's a good callback there.
Okay.
No, I didn't.
The only reason I thought about it was because that was a first time watch for me, and I knew that this was likely a first time watch for y'all. And I just was like, I remember I liked it a lot, and I was hoping that y'all would like this one.
Yeah. I think we only had so far in this thing. I think we only had one movie, well, maybe two movies we didn't like all together. But I think we're doing pretty good. Um, so Rosie O'Donnell in the '90s, bro. Oh, come on, man. What do y'all want to say about Rosie O'Donnell? Like just whatever comes to mind with Rosie.
Man, what can you
Legend.
say? She is an icon.
Mm-hmm.
I think of when I think of that name, think of that voice, that look. I think about Rosie O'Donnell. I think about Ricky Lake. I don't remember which one it was. We
Lake.
definitely
Yeah.
Lake with a K.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Ricky Lake. Nickelodeon Choice Awards or whatever it was, Kids Choice Awards. The Nickelodeon blimp, always wanting the trophy. You know, it's a flurry of things. The minute I see her, the Flintstone movie, her being Betty, I think it was Betty.
She was Betty, yeah.
And so yeah, just just one of those early ones, and she came out in a different era where they didn't come out in that era, but it's just really interesting, like Rosie O'Donnell. So I wanted to bring that up.
Love her. Her character in this movie was really important to me too. Like, I just love it, and I love her.
Yes.
Yeah, she did amazing.
Yeah, she did a thizzle. All right. So when the kids are trying to decide what to play, the choices they come up with is buy the Volvo, hide and seek, red rover, kick the can, spin the bottle. Now, if you made this suggestion as a kid, you knew you was wanted to know some things. Bumper tag. What are some games y'all used to play outside?
Go ahead, me.
You sure?
Yeah.
Oh man, okay. Ooh. This is tough because I kind of don't remember. I remember playing freeze tag.
Mm-hmm.
That was a fun one. I don't know. Like when we played outside, we didn't necessarily have like games like that we played really.
Mm-hmm.
We would do like, we would jump rope, we would play hopscotch, we would play freeze tag or something like that. But there weren't a lot of like by the Volvo or anything like that we really played that I can remember now.
Yeah, like there's
My
titles
brain
for.
might have etch a sketch that away, but I don't know.
Extra sketch that. That's pretty good. Ash,
Yeah,
what about you?
yeah, their titles were exclusive for sure. Freeze tag, we used to just race. I do remember playing Red Rover before.
Oh yeah.
Tug of war, football, stuff like that. Yeah. But
Foursquare.
Simon Says it was
Was
always
it red light, green light?
Red light, green light. Mother May I. Yeah, that Mother May I. That game is so unfair because people can have their own bias. Like they could just say, "No, you may not." Like just because, like you'll never get nowhere in the game if they just say, "No, you may not." It's up to them, whatever they feeling.
Duck Goose.
Duck. Oh yeah, that's when you're outside. Every game you play for indoor recess is 10 times better outside. You know what I mean? Because now the circle is bigger. Now you got more.
They did hard.
Yeah, you got tag. I mean, not tag, but racing. There ain't no name for it, but we just race. Like we got to run from this red car all the way to the end of the tree. To the tree. So that and for my '90s kids, I don't know. This is we're still in the like outside of PG realm, but the hide and go get it. Yes, bro. Listen, you talk about spinning the bottle.
Mommy, I never played that.
Hey, I didn't play it either.
Listen, like I probably played it once, but I didn't like abide by it because I was like, this is too much. Like, it's too much. This is too much pressure right now. I didn't know that there was more rules to this game. Like, who came up with this and why we? So yeah, that was
Yeah.
just a few to
In all
name.
honesty, though, we never played that.
But you heard of it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
How does this stuff spread across the country? Like, I never, I for the life of me, there was no social media, so it's like, how does this? We all live the same life in different states. This is the craziest. All right, well, that's all I got, kind of in our little overall discussion section. So let's get into some plot lines here. So let's see, Ash, what plots or do you have plots, character pairings? Do you have listed?
Yeah, so I got characters and then a few plots. Of course, Harriet, Sport, Janie, Golly. I got the reveal of the notebook. I got the hit list slash paint job, that whole get back. I got the conversation with her mom, Marion, and the parents.
Okay. What about you, Mia? What you got?
Very similar. Very similar. I have Harriet, Sport and Janie, Marion Hawthorne, Golly, um, Harriet's parent, and then the whole notebook, and then Harriet making good. And I also have Harriet's subjects, like the people that she observes.
Hmm. I only got a few. I got less than y'all. So I got Harriet and Friends, which is Sport and Janie, Harriet and Golly, Harriet, just Harriet in general, and then 20V Harriet.
I got 20v1 on mine, dude.
So I only got four plots to kind of cover. So um Mia, what did you say? You said you had the subjects. So
Yeah, like
okay, so since that feels like the earliest part of Harriet is her observations, so do y'all want to start there, or do y'all have any other thing in mind to start? Okay,
this should be a quick one.
all right.
So first we see she's observing the Asian family who owns the store. And the way that like as a kid, I just remember watching her observe these people. And it was just so fascinating to me. It just was like, dang, I need to open my eyes to my surroundings and like the people around me. She was watching, and then the way as a kid, how everything is a mystery and everything is an adventure. She's looking through the window and she's like, oh, a veggie thief. And then, of course, later we find out that he's not a veggie thief, but just her childlike mind wanting to make this into, she's a spy and she's seeing all of these things from this very childlike perspective, which makes everything a little bit more grand than what it actually is. And she knows so much about these people, like she knows all their business, and she's probably never met them before in her life. She's calling them by name. She knows like the family dynamic of the family who owns the store. Then she knows the guy, um, played by Don Franks, whose name Harrison Harrison Withers. And another thing that I didn't realize as a kid, all of his cats were named after jazz musicians, which I thought was really cool. But he's in there, and you see he builds his bird cages, and she's looking through the roof. And then Eartha Kitt's character, the rich lady with all the maids, and this little girl keeps breaking into her house. um, the way that she views all these people makes everyone around her just seem so interesting. And I'm like, I was looking as a kid to find people who just seemed that interesting, and I just couldn't find anybody in my own life. But everyone in her sphere who she observed just seemed to be wildly interesting and unique. And it
Yeah,
kind of like a look you know, into her life and the world that she inhabits.
Yeah, it's just that kid psyche and kind of imagination, like how we always talk about Rugrats, where it's just like their imagination of what things are. Kind of same thing with Harriet and her observations. I think for me, I think we could have had that type of imagination or seeing these type of interesting people if we had if we had that level of freedom.
Mhm.
She had a lot of freedom in travel. Obviously that era was different too. So if we had that and we were like on that type of time, we probably could be like, yo, that's such and such that be at the barber at the beauty shop all the time doing, oh, there's go such and such. Oh, we always see, but we just didn't have it because they was like, hey, get home, get back here, don't go past this, this stoplight, don't, you know what I mean, like that. But I know what you mean because watching it's like, man, I love that young naive curiosity. So,
Mhm.
anything you want to add to that, Ash, as far as Harriet's obser,
Yeah, I was just
observational
gonna say the
abilities?
maturity of the kids, and just I was living vicariously through them on the screen because again, the freedom, like she clearly knew the neighborhood. You just out and about. Again, that was not the way we were living. So just
No.
the fact that they know their way around the neighborhood and just independently roaming around, it's crazy. But it's what, sixth graders? I'm like,
Yep.
absolutely not my life, but definitely was enjoying living through her sights.
Yeah.
So
See, I feel like I had that freedom like around that age, especially at some of my friends' houses. We used to walk around the neighborhood. We had free reign, but we're like in the urban and suburban areas of Cincinnati, Ohio, and
Hmm.
they're in New York. So it wasn't much for us to see. We walk into Dairy Queen and
Yeah, no doubt. You're
United
right.
Dairy
That makes a
Farm was
difference. That
a
does
little
make a
bit
difference.
different. We don't have like this cast of characters in our neighborhoods. Everybody's pretty much.
Because even Hey Arnold, I know it's a cartoon, but they even kind of paint that picture. I mean, I know it's not directly New York, but it's got New York influence, and you see all of the characters just in his building. So yeah, I think you're right. Geography matters.
Yes.
Because I remember being in Kentucky, same thing. We could walk the whole cul-de-sac, the whole neighborhood, but it wasn't that much interesting things going on in our little bubble. So yeah, and most interesting for us is when we were allowed to walk to the store. That was probably like the most interesting it could get. But you know, all right. So Ash, where you want to go next? We're trying to build kind of from least important to like getting down to the importance. So what you got?
okay, least important. We could probably go Janie if y'all
Jamie.
want. Or
Oh,
you
you
do
got her
you?
as an individual character.
I just put the
Okay.
If we're
Harriet.
going least important, I would probably say we could have a quick chat about Marion Hawthorne.
Oh yeah, I do got her too. It's true.
Ah, Marion Hawthorne. Okay. What you got
Uh,
some stuff about her?
mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, not too much. Just obviously she was the popular, the leader of the clique. Well, I instantly was thinking of Mean Girls when I was like watching this. When it came to her and her crew, I'm just like Regina George all day. But yeah, she was manipulative too, and she often used her power negatively. Obviously, I think she has some insecurities too, as we find out later in the movie. So I think there was some insecurity there that played a part in her behavior. I think she had a little bit of jealousy too. Um, she seemed confident, and she had a good social standing. So I mean, she just was the popular girl, had the crew, very influential to those around her to get them to kind of move how she needed them to move. And yeah, that's all I really got about her.
What about you, Mia?
So similar, but the thing is, I think Marion Hawthorne was popular, but I think she was like popular by default because of how she portrayed herself. Everybody thought she was something that she really wasn't, but that's because of how she had this big, persona about what she did and what her life was like and the way she dressed like a little American Girl doll. But, it wasn't really that. But when she was able to flip, you know, Harriet's friends and have everybody go against Harriet, I'm telling you, I'm a quote that amazing movie Wicked. The best way to bring people together is to give them a good common enemy. And she really found her power once she was able to flip everybody against Harriet. But I couldn't stand this girl. Like as a kid watching this movie, I used to hate Marion Hawthorne. And now, as an adult, I still couldn't stand her little ass, but you know, I had to look at it from my big girl lens a little bit. Like, I blame her mother.
Yeah, no doubt. Miriam, I liked her actually as a villain, like because I love a good villain that I believe is able to bring the heat. You know what I mean? I don't like to feel like, oh, this villain never had a chance. They just happened to be the bad guy. Like she really brought the heat. Like she was very intentional about how she approached everything. But again, she was popular by default, kind of, and she felt flawed. So she wasn't like on the other side of the spectrum of, oh, she's just perfect and this and that. I mean, she tried to paint the picture, but you see her being flawed very, very easily. But you could see being a sixth grader, and if you're Harriet or somebody else, you could see where, like, I remember being a kid and seeing like popular kids in sixth grade or whatever. They got nice clothes, maybe they're well groomed or whatever, and looking at them like thinking they're perfect. It's like, man, they got a flaw. The skin is good. The clothes look nice. They got all the friends. And I'm thinking like they're perfect. So putting myself in that sixth grader view, I could see how, as much as you're hating on Marion, you probably think she's perfect because her hair is together. She's always voted for the same thing over and over. And so it was interesting. She was just a good foe to me. And I liked a good foe. Like, I mean, obviously the movie gonna take a twist, but I really liked her as far as that. Like as a kid, I would have hated her though. Like I would have been like, oh man, she's Angelica coming to life. Like, dumb babies.
Oh, I hated her. But I loved how Harriet and her friends, like how they reacted to her and how
Yes.
they kind of had their own reaction to her outside of everybody else. Like they saw, like they were not messing with her at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like when they first see her coming in, they're like, it's happening.
Yes.
It was like, oh my goodness. To be a child in the 90s.
I know all of that. So, well, then let's transition into sporting Janie, kind of. Ash, what you want to say about some of the things we noticed with Harriet's, her day ones right there.
I think she has some solid friends, man. You can tell they've been rocking with each other for a while. Um, Very good friends. Sport, I liked him a lot. He just seemed like a solid friend. Obviously, we know his dad had financial troubles, and so he was doing everything he could to help him out, to make money, go to the store, get some vittles. He seemed very responsible. Sometimes us kids have to go through that at a young age. Your responsibility level is very high at a young age. And, he held it. I mean, he kept it in well, like you really didn't know. You know what I mean? Like when he at school, they sitting on the stoop kids, and he just having a good time, being a kid. So not even knowing what he's going through at home. So I think sport was solid. He seemed like the peacemaker of the group. Like
Great
if they
call
all
out.
get,
Great
yeah, he
call out. I
seemed
didn't think
like the
about that.
mediator.
Well, the part like the getaway of him being a kid, how important that was. I didn't even think about that. Good call out. I just wanted to say that before I forget.
Yeah, for sure. Sometimes you need, get away from that. Um, Janie, she was intelligent, very eccentric. She loves science. She always doing science projects, experiments. A lot of times they were exploding or making messes. Even her mom knew, what type of time she was on. Her whole room was set up like a dang science class. Um, that made me think of the science fair in school where you had the little boards and just,
Oh man,
you're
not
really
the
into it.
you are though.
I like the science, but when I got to the book work, I'm like, yeah,
Yeah,
nah, I'm cool on that. But just let me do the projects.
exactly.
But for her to be so young too, she was a physical actress, whatever. Like she was very like physical. You know what I mean? Like doing all kind of type of physical comedy in a sense. But and yeah, so Janie was cool. She was loyal. She was like the one that probably would be the let's if we got to scrap it out. She seemed like she's ready. So
It's a fact, dude.
yeah. Somebody got to be the first one to jump out there, and it seemed like Janie had no problems being that one to protect her friend.
No problems, buddy.
Um, so yeah, both I think are solid friends. I like them a lot. So
What say you, man? What you want to say about Sport and Janie? Two interesting kids in this film.
Oh man, I love Harriet, Janie, and Sport. Their whole dynamic as a friend group. I love Sport. I feel like I had a really different reaction now watching it as an adult, of course, because as a kid, you're looking at it and you see it, but you don't really understand fully his circumstances, like the whole adultification, and he's got to go home, he's got to cook the spaghetti, and he's doing the grocery shopping, and he's cleaning, and his dad is a starving artist trying to, write a book, but his mom's not there, and he's just really got to be the one to keep the ship going. And then when he's with his friends, he really gets to be a kid. Like Ash said, Janie, I have to comment quickly on the diversity of this film and how awesome they did just with
Yes.
portraying these
yes,
characters in a way that wasn't stereotypical in any way or wasn't insensitive. They were all just kids. There was no comment on any of that. And I think that's probably a big reason why I connected and loved this film so much as a kid. It was just, they were just kids. And none of that was a factor. Janie was extremely smart, just a smart, but not, they didn't portray her as a nerd or dorky just because she was smart. She was cool, fun, but she loved to do her experiments and she was a little unhinged, little mad scientist. And I just really loved that about her. And then, you see how they all just have this love for each other, which of course we'll talk about Harriet on her own later. But regardless of everything that she wrote down, she was a really good friend to them. They were great friends to her. And I feel like they had such a closeness, which makes what happens later so much more heartbreaking to watch because of how much I loved them as a trio.
Harriet being a good friend is debatable, but we'll get there. ah, um, but just for me to look, for me to kind of share my spiel on Sport and Janie. I love that all three different, and that makes no difference. You know what I mean in that relationship. The way they were hanging at at that eclectic yard and drinking from the same bottle and spitting and laughing, man, listen, really chumming it up. I was like, man, that is so like that's so back then, it's so 90s. And of course, like we talked about them dogging Miriam's newspaper. And I think Janie said, this is what crap wants to be growing up. Like that's how bad her stuff wasn't even crap. It was aspiring to be crap. Like that was such a good line. But yeah, we all know somebody that's a goody two shoes overachiever. Um, like Janie being like a borderline science genius, and then Sport being a borderline financial genius. Like
Hmm.
the way he's budgeting everything in his house as a sixth grader.
The
Like, come on,
books.
Deep in the books.
deep. And it's an interesting thing because whoever wrote this, the nuance in which they wrote these kids is amazing. They really wrote them in such a expanded way. It's hard to. I'd imagine it's really hard to write for kids and then kids to execute where you want the script to go. And so the way they wrote this,
Mm-hmm.
and like how you felt this deep level for that actor that played sport. Like even when we get to the 20V Harriet, it's amazing how he's still the strong silent type. You know what I mean? Shout out to Gary Cooper. So uh, okay, Harriet and
Gully.
Gully. All right, Ash, you want to get into that first? Harriet and Gully.
Sure. Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful relationship. Obviously, she's Harry, Gully. Golly is her
Chelsea
nanny.
Clinton. Chelsea Clinton is it Kelsey Clinton? Chelsea Clinton.
She's her nanny since birth, I think. So, because she said I've been knowing you 11 years, so I'm
Mhm.
assuming that's how old Harriet was. But just um, they had a great relationship. You could tell Harriet looked up to Golly. Golly was very encouraging. Like she knew that Harriet had a unique perspective, and so she encouraged her to write. Even when her writing was leading to trouble and bad things, um, her words of wisdom to support Harriet was beautiful to me. Even after she left, being able to remind her to be true to herself and keep writing. I had two tearjerker moments in this movie, and one was when Golly left. Definitely had me choked up, man.
What did that make you feel like? Was it reminiscent of anything in your life, or was it just you felt where she was coming from?
I felt the emotion, like it just. First of all, I'm a Cancer, so I'm just emotional anyway. But yeah, like the just how Harriet, she was crying, and Golly held back her tears until the very end when she got in the taxi, and then you saw her crying. But it's like because it has those moments where you might see your kid hurting and crying, and you have to be so keep this straight face to show your support for your kid. You don't want them to see you're crying too. But then you go around the corner. And I'm boohooing. I've had that experience a few times just with Anthony. So like, I
Yeah,
don't want him to. He's seen me cry before, but I try to not let that be seen. But yeah, I think they had a great relationship. Like I said, um, when the parents tried to fire her, and she was like, "I think that's best." And then they're like backtracking, like, "Oh, hold on, like you can't leave, like you backtracking." But no, like she realized it is time for her to go. Mama got to have a life too. So it's tough to see, but I know she needed to do that for herself. Again, the parents were always gone, dang near.
for
So
sure.
it's like she really didn't have time to be able to get her swerve on or even have a potential interest. And she loved Harry unconditionally, but it was time. So um, yeah, beautiful dynamic. I have stuff about Harry, but are we gonna talk about her later, like a separate?
Yeah, we'll talk about her
Okay.
as a character. You got some stuff to add to that with Harry and Gully?
Absolutely. Um, Gully is probably one of my favorite characters of any movie ever. Um, I loved everything about how she took care of Harriet, the way that she explained the world to Harriet, the things that she introduced Harriet to. She was just very wise and eccentric. And I have a lot to say about Harriet's parents. But you could see that she kind of took on, like, she was a nanny, but there was a closeness that she had with Harriet that Harriet didn't have with her parents. And there's a moment when you see her mother kind of look, and you can kind of see a little flash of jealousy, like, hold on now, wait a minute. Uh,
Facts.
And I don't think I noticed that watching it as a kid the way that I noticed it watching it as an adult. But when I felt like there was, which was why it was so baffling to me, the whole scene when they tried to fire Gully. You trust me to take care of your daughter every day. You know I'm here with her. I take her around. I live here, but you come home from one of your parties and we're not here, you automatically assume the worst and fly off the handle. It was just kind of wild to me. Like, you trust me with her care every day. Like, why would you think, would you think I was doing? And so that, um, ugh. But also when she makes the decision to leave Harriet in that moment, I was so mad at her. And not because I felt like it was the wrong thing, but I feel like it, for Harriet's benefit, it was very abrupt. I feel like they should have given her a transition period to the point where it's like, okay, I'll leave in 2 weeks. I need to get her prepared to, be without me, but just to, the mom says you're fired and you're like, okay, well, I'm out of here. And it's like, wait a minute, that's just kind of pulling the rug out from underneath Harriet in a way, because it's a strong bond and a strong emotional support that she's going to be without. And you see it after Gully leaves in the way Harriet responds emotionally to it, and the way that, yeah, her parents aren't there. She's literally there by herself quite often
Mm-hmm.
when Gully leaves. And the whole tone of the movie changes after Gully leaves. It's like the world is bright, and then it just kind of dims a little bit. And there's this different tone that it takes on. And yeah, I feel like I've never had a nanny, but
Yeah.
I've never been a nanny, but I've heard, I've seen that that's a different kind of, it's a very strong love, very akin
Mm-hmm.
to mother child.
Like surrogate mother almost. Yeah, I covered everything kind of in that sense. Only thing I would say is, well, a thing I say is when Gully burns up the brats and Harriet and the delivery man want to go to dinner and a movie, and the level of excitement she had to do this really takes me back to a simpler time. Like how exciting it was, like, oh, we're not eating food at the house. We're going to get something. It could be Wendy's. Let's get the junior bacon cheeseburger. The level of excitement to know we're not eating spaghetti or hot dogs or whatever's at the crib. We're going out to get food. It didn't matter what it was. So that level of excitement was so innocent. It just warmed my heart in that moment. And even like the delivery man egging it on more, like, just because he's into it like that. And she was like, all right, bump it, And like you said, me, it's just like, y'all trust her, but all of a sudden, because she did that, bro, y'all let Harriet roam the streets. What are we talking about? It's crazy work. And then lastly, I'll say in that is, when she gets fired, but decides this is what she need to do, I think the delivery man got through to her, because that cohesion does feel abrupt and weird. But I think when the delivery man was talking about wanting to start over, that really registered to her. And sometimes, how you make a decision quickly because that's how you feel in that moment. And even after it's over, months down the road, you still feel that way, but you realize it's like, okay, I could have made the decision and transitioned it better. Not so much that I feel differently, because once it hits you, it hits you. This is what I got to do. But I think that's kind of what was going through her head at the time. But when she, as Ash was talking about, when she had to leave, and like Ash was talking about, like, kind of Gully with the tears hitting the corner in the taxi. But for me, when she had to leave and she held on to the window and then ran with the taxi, oh my God, I gotta lean my head. I gotta lean my head, because you stop running with me. Stop it. I'll turn this whole thing around, abrupt my life, and go back to what it was. Like that got me because I'm like, dang, that passion from a kid, that real love for Gully in that moment was like, I'm running with the taxi. Like I'm not gonna stop her. But if the last moments I have with you is running next to this taxi, I was like, God, ah, that hit me really watching. I was like, damn,
It was tough.
yeah, yeah.
Do you guys know what animated movie The Time Has Come, the Walrus said to talk of other things is from?
Mm-mm.
Alice in Wonderland. The Walrus and the Carpenter, the
Oh,
little baby oysters.
uh, I wasn't too privy of. I've heard of the title, but I wasn't too privy. I did watch the real life depiction that was out a few years back. But
That was
yeah,
one of my. Yeah, no, I don't think that was in the live action, but it's in the animated one.
mm,
And it's like a whole little story. And it's a poem. The time has come, the walrus said, to speak of other things, of shoes and ships and sealing wax, of cabbages and kings, and why the sun is, what does it say? Of why the sea is boiling hot and whether pigs have wings. And then it's like a whole other thing. But yeah, it was just a really special little insider.
mm.
Mm.
Okay. Um, all
Come
I
on.
got left is Harriet and 20V Harriet. So is there anything that are more minor things before we really get into Harriet the Spy?
Can we talk about Harry's parents?
Okay.
You know, when I said at the beginning of this that I had a change of opinion, it was really about her parents. And I feel like it's because as a kid, I kind of saw her parents as villains. I felt like they were just the problem in every way. But looking at it from my adult lens, were they perfect? Absolutely not. They made a lot of mistakes. They're very flawed characters, but very real. And it just occurred to me, like, that very last scene, like, I was still kind of looking at them as villains throughout the movie until that very last scene when she had that talk with her mom. And her mom said, one day when you grow up, you're going to have kids and you're going to try really hard to understand them. And I was like, you know what? Of
Mic drop.
course, because this parenthood thing is very hard. It is hard. And you don't get to choose your child's personality. You don't get to choose how they'll relate to you, how you'll relate to them. You just have to do your best. And your best isn't always going to be the best or great. And I was like, you know what? I have to give grace. There's a lot of nuance in this. Um, and I Yeah, I feel like there was a real human element to a lot of the characters in this movie. Her mom wasn't a perfect homemaker. Her dad wasn't like the perfect dad. They were very human characters. It wasn't like they argued when they shouldn't have in front of her. They had conversation. They made mistakes in their parenting, but you could tell that they loved her. They made choices that they felt were best and they were fumbling through it. And I feel like they had a lot of help. They had a nanny. And then when they lost that, it was just like it was to Harriet. It was a huge transition for them too. And I just have to give a lot of grace. Her mom was a mess. Like that scene when she told Golly she was fired really still pissed me off, even with the grace that I choose to give. But I really have to I had to take a step back from, childhood me and look at this as now being a parent. Like, wow.
Mm-hmm. That's the beauty of this show of childish grownups. You got the childish side and you got the grown up side. And that's the beauty in this. Ash, you got anything you want to say about the parents?
Yeah, and like that just reminded me of Miss Doubtfire. Like watching it as a kid, you just think it's funny,
Hmm.
and then when we watched it as an adult, we're like, oh, hold on, like
Oh,
the parental side is
yeah, yeah.
the sharing the children. Like it's a lot,
It's real, yeah.
um, but Mia, she tapped on pretty much everything. I did not like the parents in the beginning. They really were irking me. They just felt really detached. I think after Gully left, they stepped up because they had no choice. But that was the realest line with what Mia touched on when she had that convo. I was like, oh my goodness, that was golden for me. Because she was like, even though you're telling me, and even though I'm listening,
Yeah.
I still don't understand. Like it be like that sometimes. Like,
Yeah, that was her bar.
bro, that's the realest thing she ever
That
wrote.
was
Yeah.
the realest thing I
Um,
ever like.
and like her mom had this tone that was very like just soft and like so just the way she said it, it just hit me. But yeah, I mean, I guess the dad had a what she said, high stress job.
High pressure job.
Yeah, high pressure job. So he probably wanted to come home and just want straight peace from that point. But yeah, it just felt like they weren't really involved in Harriet's interests. Like they knew she was probably different or unique. And they didn't really tap into her interests like that.
Hmm.
So, but like I said, I think they kind of turned it around once Gully left and did her thing. They kind of stepped up. I mean, they still weren't. What she said, when she gave the notebook back, and Harriet talking about some, don't do it again, okay? Whoa.
Hey, listen.
Yeah.
Whoa,
That's
whoa.
hey, you want to run that by me one more time?
I may swerve on that corner.
Whoa, whoa, bling, bling.
Yeah,
Every time
yeah,
I come around, you see there, bling, bling.
right. Chill out.
It's the
Like,
90s, right?
right,
Bling,
right.
bling.
Okay, little girl, we were having
Yeah.
a moment.
Yeah, listen to
Got a little
me.
too much dip
In the
on your chip.
90s, oh my gosh, you don't understand. Where's the
Yeah, like,
Vaseline? Because the welts.
The way my mama would have snatched that notebook back, you know what?
so what?
Hmm.
but but no, I boo-hooed. I cried my eyes out after that scene because it really hit me. I was like,
Hmm.
oh,
That was
real.
good. That was good.
That's definitely the line of the movie, bro.
Absolutely. I was like, yo, I was trying so hard not to say it to y'all. I'm like, yeah, I really would have
Yeah, I knew
just,
when you said I said I know where she going.
it was so good. But that's all I had pretty much about the parents. So,
All right, so I'm gonna get into Harriet, and then we'll get into 20V Harriet. So Harriet, I got like in parentheses, anti-hero or villain. She's not the hero. Like I think this movie is very clear in that, like, which makes this such an interesting film. So one of the things to notice is Harriet eats the same thing for lunch every day and
for
has
five
for the
years.
for 5 years. Now these traits are traits I'm not going to project, but if y'all do some research, do your Googles, do the knowledge. So very interesting stuff. I think we could build on theory land here. Also, in a little sidebar, how nice was the Harriet's house, y'all?
Very nice.
Bro.
But it's supposed to be a New York brownstone, so we know her parents had a little change. They had a little money, but
That the way the stairs set up, I was like, yo, I'll take this today. But Harriet deals with real life loss from Gully leaving, and this mirrors the Catman. I feel it kind of mirrors that plot a little bit, and then we get a big shift in the movie where Harriet is exposed when they get her private notebook, and some of the stuff she said was awful. Even though it's meant to be private, it's awful. So that's me kind of my layout on some things that stood out as far as Harriet, the character herself. Ash, what are some things that stood out about Harriet as far as traits or plot or
Um, yeah, I mean, you pretty much, I mean, I just had that she obviously is an inspiring writer. She writes everything she sees. Um, very smart, inquisitive. and you could tell she was going through her own self discovery. I think she was observant, a curious kid, and she was passionate about her writing, and that's commendable because I don't
Yeah.
think I like to write like
Mm-mm.
them. Like I think it takes a special kind of person to really. I mean, of course I can write, but like to be into it like that, like you said, journalism. Like I think I love people that like to do that type of work. Like I think it's amazing.
I like people who like to
Um,
talk.
right. Yeah, she had moments of bluntness and the things she was writing in that private notebook was crazy work. So,
Mm, 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 mm,
but
mm,
yeah.
mm. Yeah. What do you want to say about Harriet?
All right, now, I don't think she was an anti-hero or a villain. I think she was a human being. There's another YouTuber who I watch who did a video about Harriet the Spy like the same day or the day after
Okay.
Michelle Trachtenberg passed away. And she said something very poignant that really stood out to me about Harriet's character. Basically, when you have something private like a notebook or a journal, you make a contract with yourself, you make a contract with that journal. And when that is violated, it just changes everything. So, yeah, some of the things she said were awful, but those were her private thoughts, her private feelings. You can't really villainize somebody for their observations and their thoughts that because somebody could think something about you that's heinous and you'll never know.
Sure.
You'll never think because I'm sure we've all had an unkind thought. We may not have written it down, but there are things that you think that nobody will ever know that you even thought. Somebody might take a look in your brain and think, oh my God, Mo is crazy. But you are entitled to your private thoughts.
Yeah. You really love this movie, don't you?
I do. I'm
You love
telling
it.
you,
You love it, don't you?
I do, and I really connected with Harriet as a kid because I was very what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to keep saying emotional. I was in my head a lot. Like
Yeah,
I feel
yeah,
like
yeah.
she's constantly in her head, going through her thoughts and trying to find some like outlet for all of that she has in there, which is a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, it's hard to watch Marion read those things out loud to her friends, especially, and even to like when she read that the look on the boy with the purple socks face when she read if I was a boy with the purple socks, I'd hang myself. The way his face looked was heartbreaking. It was like, oh my God.
That hurt.
And that's why I feel like Marion Hawthorne is a villain because yeah, these things are awful, but you're reading them out loud to everybody, which means that you're not only trying to hurt me, you're trying to hurt everybody else in the situation. And I just feel like I can't be mad at Harriet for the things that she thought and saw and
You,
wrote down.
you trying real hard right now, bro. I'm with
No,
you
like
until we get. If she never wrote about her friends, I'm with you all the way. But the fact that she wrote those terrible things, but even private and all, you wrote this about your friend. You seen your homeboy struggling, and you're writing it in your book. Like that ain't what Gully taught you. She not doing what Gully taught her because that's not what she taught her. She said write things down. You go from writing things that you see down to writing things that you feel down, and the things that you're feeling. We getting past human now. That's why I said she's more of an anti-hero than anything. Because like, what part of the game is that?
I
Like, okay, okay. I'm not. You're right. We all have unpleasant thoughts, even sometimes with our friends when they get on our nerves or whatever. I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but I think at that age of sixth grade, it's like the depth of how she went in on both her friends was like. I wish I wrote the quotes down, but like,
know them by heart.
okay, What did she say?
Okay.
Terrible.
So what she said about Janie was, and again, you have to think about the way she wrote them wasn't exactly the way that they came out of her head. She paraphrased a lot of it. So what she had wrote about Janie was, Janie really creeps me out. Sometimes I wonder if she'll grow up to be a complete nutcase. But in her mind, she was saying some of Janie's experiments creep me out. I wonder if she'll grow up to be a complete genius or a total nutcase. And then with sport, he said,
We
you
got
know,
Mia
basically,
Bell's bombing over here. You bailing, you shoot a lot of
I
bail.
am because
Oh man.
as a sixth grader, okay, what she said about sport, it was mean, but that's what she saw. She had a completely different lens. You got to think about it. She's probably 11 years old, 11, 12. Her parents are affluent. They have money. She has a house. Her parents buy the food. What she's observing with sport is, why can't sports dad get a real job? I had to pretend he dropped money just so he could afford bread and milk. To her, that's abnormal. That's not like, yeah, she's thinking like, this nigga's poor because he is. That's what she sees. She's writing down what she sees. And it's not necessary, it's not meant to be a dig at sport. It's just, this is what I'm observing in my 12-year-old brain, which is, yeah, the way I hear these kids talk to each other, it's not, they don't have the level of empathy or compassion to think with a nuanced brain about, oh, yeah, this is probably, circumstances beyond his control. Like, it's not, she's not looking at it like that. You got to think about, because when I was in the sixth grade, I remember thinking and saying some things that probably were very unkind. And I've thought about it over the years about how unkind kids can be to each other.
Oh
But
yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't think that she ever meant it in a way like, because even what Golly said when she came back and talked to, and Harriet told her what was going on, she said, you wrote some things down that they weren't meant to see and they saw it. That's really the whole gist of it. If that was never a plot point, we wouldn't even be having a conversation about it. It's really, again, and this is just my opinion, I don't think that you can villainize her for the things that she observed and what she felt, when she never had the intent on showing or saying that to hurt anybody. Her intent was never to hurt anybody. It was just what she saw, what she felt.
Issue with that too is she never even like really apologized. Like you did the quiet apology behind closed doors. Like it ended well where everybody voted for her and all that, but like you still didn't really apologize.
This is where
It's
I'm
No,
like,
getting
that
at.
was in her article.
man, no, I need a one-on-one joint. Like if we in the sandbox with it, Janie, I'm sorry. Sport, I'm sorry, man. Like, come on, man.
Like yeah, yeah, because that should have been right away. Like
Like, I'm
that's
sorry, Janie. Like, come on, bro.
yeah, it should have been immediate. Like hey, guys, you gotta trust, you gotta hear me. Like nobody else, but at least your friends. Like whatever you felt, what you felt is private. But like soon as they read it, like oh, I'm been spying on you. I'm about to spy back at the crib because you got all the way over there and you posted up and she like what you here for? And you sitting there like kind of stumbling, bumbling. Like just say you're sorry. Like these are your real friends. Y'all over here, y'all dog Miriam. You know what I mean? So not say she grew up to be a villain or anti-hero just in this season. Cause it's just these traits about Harriet that I realized. I said, okay, she's not the more when I watched the whole movie, I was like, there was just these little jabs. It's like how she went about how she dealt with her parents and saying certain things to her parents, certain ways she wrote in her notebook, certain ways I mean, again, this is sixth grader, so I get all that, but it was just one of those kids where it's like I just looked at her. I was like, I enjoy her as a lead, but I was just like, yeah, you. I don't think you're meant to be likable because I did not like you. I was like, I did not like this kid, but I like what we about to get into when we get to the 20V Harriet because I said, yo, you got to be a different kind of menace to do what she just did. So after she gets exposed, they wanted to take her head off. And so they create a spy catchers club, and they spy on her and disrupt her routes. They really, and then so she's going on, and she's they at this point she got her notebook taken right from her parents. Okay, so she eventually will get to therapy, whatever. But they really take advantage in art class. Oh my gosh! Listen, like the way that setup was, like it's like we want you to know we're about to do something, and they still got it off, and then like let me help you out, and the teacher's not picking up on it. And let me tell you, this is when I felt Harriet the most, though. I felt her so much, bro. I was like, when you used to cry and get them angry tears like that. That, bruh, I swear when I said, oh, I would have had the angry tears, dude. Like I would have been so mad. And then when they coming to her hygiene, calling her funky or stinky or something like that, like she bathed in the bath, like, oh man. So I'll throw in your court first, Ash, because we'll all kind of get into like the individual things. Get back. What did you take from the art class and then her getting her lick back on Laura, Beth, Carrie, Janie, Pinky, Miriam, Sport?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, the slap was so satisfying.
Yes.
When she slapped Marion. Cause like, okay, y'all did the first setup, right? And then you come back with the second coat. Yeah.
The second coat, like
you come with the second coat. Yeah, I gotta lay hands with
Marion. That's why I said she a good villain because she was like, huh? I've been waiting for your sweet and sour chicken ass. I got something for you. She came back with a hey, listen.
Yeah, y'all took it way too far. So yeah, at this point it's up. Revenge. First of all, take it back a little bit. You're not gonna be reading my book this whole time.
Oh,
like
facts.
The fact that you let her get this off page by page, we're not doing that. I'm running over there snatching my immediately. Like you're not even. You just standing there letting her reveal your deepest. Like no.
Yeah, you wouldn't have got to the friends part about it. You start reading about everybody after you read about the guy with the purple socks. There's no way. Like I would have started snatching pages, half of it. I don't care what it is, bro.
Then you tell me to go sit on the bench until we figure out what we want to do with you.
Sixth graders, bro.
So I just had to put that out there. But yeah, so the slap was amazing. And then when she couldn't have her notebook anymore, when she putting the hit list, carving the names on the desk, I'm like,
menace.
She's hot, bruh. So when she cut that girl ponytail, that beautiful braid, I'm like, yo, that is insane. She cut the hair, told Marion her dad doesn't love her. I only just put a couple. Yeah,
I put all of them on there.
You said her dad. When you put the picture up of Sport in that apron with man of the house.
Where's your uncle at?
Diabolical,
dude.
That was so good.
You developed this somewhere, or somehow you got this to a printer in the 90s, dude. Not like
multiple copies.
A million of them joints back to back too, like super petty.
Bro, man of the house. That was great.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, at this point, it meant war. Like we was up. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I know I wrote about y'all. I did say some awful things, but now like y'all taking it too far, and so it's up. We all out here fighting. That's pretty much what this is. But that's pretty much what I had. Like, I just thought it was an amazing, like, dynamic. just
Yeah.
kids in school, just you know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
School
like
shit.
you got to still get away with this stuff.
Yes.
That's the like as a kid, like when you getting your revenge in school, you got to get away with it because you know you can't get in trouble at home with your parents. That's what
Yeah.
make it so slick. Like, oh, I'm gonna get you back, but I'm gonna make sure I don't get caught when I get you back. Mia, go ahead. I know you got some things you want to say because I'm gonna respond after you.
See now, okay, because I just you and your anti-Harriet rhetoric is crazy. But anyway,
What?
um, first of all, I don't know. I feel like the whole like I felt so bad for Harriet because like being isolated and being the only one who is being targeted by everybody. Like, yeah, what she did was, you know, and I couldn't even say what she did because again, it wasn't like she went out of her way trying to hurt everybody. Marion read her notebook, which was supposed to be private.
Mm-hmm.
When they're playing and you see that notebook fly up in the air, you just knew it was going it like this is not gonna end well. Like, girl, you can't get caught slipping like that.
Yeah.
But I felt so like it was like she was really think about like how hard it is to lose friends as an adult, but being a 12-year-old and you've lost your nanny who is basically your lifeline. Your parents don't really connect with you. You know, they're providing food and shelter and that's about it. Um, then you lose your friends in this way and you feel like all is lost. Like when she was laying on the bench, like my position is bad, my position could not be, but like it's like she felt hopeless in a sense. As a child who was highly sensitive, I just felt for her. And so that scene when they're pouring the paint on her and just seeing how desperate she was to get up and for them to all get off of her. Like I felt like it was so cringy to me because that feeling of just being powerless and they're doing these things to you and there's nothing you can do. You're kind of in this on your own, which is why when she slapped the dog out of Marion, I just the sound
Mm-hmm.
was so satisfying. But then when she goes home and she hops in the tub with all her clothes on, and then you see her carving those names in the desk, it's like sweet revenge. I do, however, as an adult Black woman, seeing her cut that little Black girl's hair off, I was like, hey, I get it's a movie. Hey, but as a mother of a little Black girl, let me find out.
Oh yeah.
Somebody cut my baby's hair off at school. Let me tell you how much I'm about to knock all this shit over
Where is your mama at?
because ain't no way. I'm not just calling your parents. Your mama has to see. We
Pull
gotta
up.
have
Pull up.
because she cut that little girl's hair off, little Black girl's hair off. You know how much effort her mama had to put in to grow her hair.
Clean off.
Mm-hmm.
In class, just
Snip. No problem.
but I do feel that she felt the weight of her decisions when she ran into Sport while she was putting that picture of him up and she saw because Sport, he had a different like mature, like there was a different emotional level to him. You could tell he was already going through it, you
Yeah.
know. But when he saw her put that picture up, he didn't have to say anything. He just looked at her like, and it's like if anything, I feel like Sport got it the worst. He was the one who I feel if I would have understood anybody not forgiving Harriet, it would have been Sport.
Mm-hmm.
Jamie, girl, you know you a
Out
little
there.
unhinged, girl. You know. It's fine. She says you was a little crazy. You a little crazy. It's okay. But Sport,
That was
I
deep.
kind of felt like if I would have understood anybody not really wanting to mess with Harriet anymore, it was sport. But luckily, all is right with the world. They got their little foot tattoo back in the end, and
Yeah.
you know.
Um. So she cut Laura's ponytail. She marked up Beth's magazine crushes in her locker. Carrie's bra is put on a flagpole because she had a puberty over the summer. She ruined both Janie and Pinky's science projects. Of course, Miriam tells her that her dad doesn't love her. Like what a like the brilliance of like, I know how to get you. You got all this facade. You got all these nice clothes. Your hair is this way. You're this doll, this Barbie, this popular political class president figure, and I know how to get to you. I'm gonna get to you. I'm gonna cut through all that and get right to the core. Your daddy don't love you.
Ooh,
Like,
she got her to the white meat.
bro, like he been in Amsterdam for the last 3 years, bruh. Like
You know
that,
why?
bro. That's diabolical, and that's that's such a chest move. It's like I know exactly where to go with you. And then of course, sports. She prints, him off in the maid fit or whatever that we talked about. This is one of the times that this makes this movie excellent because you don't see this. You never see, like, you see this, and then the protagonist has to learn their lesson, and they be like, "Okay, guys, I'm sorry," blah blah blah. But you never see the get back. But the fact that she was a one person army, 20v Harriet, 20v1 the boy. It's like, no, I got something for all y'all, and like, that's why I was like, my jaw dropped watching it. I said, "Oh, I love this movie." I said, "I love this," because you don't see that get back like that. And so Harriet being able to get that off, it was amazing film. That's why I was like, "Dang, was this I said this couldn't have been no TV film. Did they release this in theaters? Because I like this feels way more than a TV film. Like this film stands alone in its own thing. But eventually, she learns from the error of her ways when Gully comes back, and as Mia had said, and she ends up basically, making a public apology to everybody. And ironically enough, the kid with the purple socks, he wants to hear what Harriet has to say. And all is right in the end of this film. Is there any final thoughts with this film before we get into our next section?
Mm-mm.
I'll say I love this. I enjoy this. I would definitely come back to this film for sure. This is definitely one. I don't know what the occasion would be, but I would come back to this, because it was so fun, and I'll watch it again, Mia, to see if I feel any different about Harriet. But I think a great lead character. I don't, like I said, I don't think she was, for me. I don't know if we were supposed to like her or hate her. We just follow her kind of like, and I just was like, eh. But she killed it. The actress, rest in peace. She killed this, and I enjoyed it for every minute it was. So I think I could guess this first one. But Mia G, character you relate to or identify with the most?
So I actually have a two for, because as a kid it would have been Harriet for all the reasons that I already said. But as an adult, I have to say I relate to Gully because I feel like the way she sees the world is so unique. And I always try my best to see things from as many perspectives as I can. I like to be able to relate to people. I like to see the nuance and the complexity and everything. And I feel like that was something that I just really admired about her character, and something that I feel like I at least aspire or try to do. Even the way that I try to give advice to my daughter or my little sisters or my friends. Just try to see things from a broader, more big picture lens, you know?
Mm, okay. Ash.
Yeah, that tracks me. I think you're probably a good friend. You know, if we were in the same state, I probably would hang out.
I probably would hang out.
Are you
Yeah. Um,
Out of
but
all the
I
girls I've been with, you the fondest. Sorry,
sure?
just call back to whatever. But sorry.
I would say sport. Just being someone that your parents tend to lean on heavy can be overwhelming. Um, and you have to find ways to mask that feeling, because these are the people that brought you into the world. So you have that undeniable connection there. But then it's like you have to be able to set boundaries. And yeah, it just can be overwhelming. So I relate to sport in this movie with on the parent aspect. So
Okay, respectable. I got all the kids because at some point you may have been any one of them.
Mhm.
Different. You go through different phases, different eras. Growing up, you could be the kid with the purple socks. That's just your style where you at. Like I definitely used to wear like the same rubber band every day because I just liked it so much. I wore that same, wasn't even a rubber band, but whatever that band was, I used to wear it every day. Like, so you could be that kid, you could be the Miriam overachieving, you could be the Harriet, you could be any of them. Like, so all the kids to me, I identify with, and just being embarrassed and upset. We've all been there. Mia G, character that can get the stepping, the character you could do without.
I said Beth Ellen. Um, as far as the kids are concerned, I feel like her character, like, oh, Beth Ellen always looks like she's about to cry. It was just kind of like a throwaway for me. It didn't add, or like even when Harriet like wrote on her magazines, I just didn't. I felt no type of way about it whatsoever. So it was just kind of like, if I had to choose somebody to get the chop, it would be her because she wasn't that memorable a character.
I didn't have anyone. I'm kind of in agreement with Mia as far as like it just. I mean, I know there were some extra kids involved, for the movie purposes. So there wasn't anyone that really stood out for me to be like, oh, they got to get the step in. Like I can't really track anything, so I didn't have anyone.
Yeah, I think some of the people you spot on could have been a good contender, but another one to shock, just like I said, lyric. Here's gonna be another shocker. I'm going Gully, and the reason I'm going Gully is because of how they wrote her in it. I don't like what they did with the Gully character. That's my issue. She was a great character. It's what they did. It's like why y'all brought her in for this short moment to take her out and then bring her back at the end. It's like the movie changed their mind on where they wanted to go. And then they say, oh, we're going to pull her and we're going to bring the parent because the parents almost feel totally different from the start to finish. It's just, I mean, it's a Nickelodeon movie, so it didn't have to be that deep, but it's the way they wrote the Gully character. I didn't like the usage of it. It just, we got in there, we say, oh, we've been with her for the 11 years. But then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I'm out of here. Like, yeah, I think this is a good decision for me. And then I don't know. It's just, and then it's like nothing about what Gully taught felt like it affected how Harriet was to me, other than why she wrote in her notebook. Like I was like, her character is a good character, but it's like y'all was battling between who y'all wanted to be the influence of Harriet, and I almost feel like neither the parent nor Gully, I don't know. I didn't like how they wrote her. I think they should, if they did it differently, her character would have been better. I almost feel like they should have just kept her hired, and maybe even Harriet and her get into it, and then they got to kind of get back together because Harriet is, going through it or whatever. But the way they wrote her out and brought her back in for a quick moment, I don't know. I just didn't like how they wrote it. So it's more about how the writers put it more than the actual character. But yeah, to me, she can get stepping because we could have still got the same place if her mom was one way and then got all the way to the end. So that's what I think at least. Favorite song in the movies? Not really that type of movie. Things you would change about the movie? Mia G.
I only had one thing that just rubbed me a little bit, like, and it was when Miss Elson did the whole notebook check pat down in front of the entire class. Like, I just
Oh
did
man.
that. I was like, I wish, because she was already kind of going through it, and I get, but as a teacher, I feel like you need to be a little bit more aware. Read the
Mm-hmm.
room. You see, she ain't really got no friends right now, and then you gonna pat her down in front of the whole class. At least stop her at the door.
That's crazy. Yeah, the pat down in front of everybody.
Um, it just felt a little bit like we were piling it on, and I could have done without that.
Okay. Ash, things you would change about the movie or what they didn't get right.
Favorite song I did put "Get Up Off That Thing" at the end. They were grooving, so I had to put that in there.
Hey, I like it.
JD was getting to it. You hear me? But I mean, you know how we do when the music come on.
Yeah,
That's
you
just
know,
what we
yeah,
do.
yeah, that's what we do.
But I don't have anything for things I would change if I had to pick. I mean, what Mia said that was a bit excessive. Like the whole pat down for a notebook was kind of crazy. Um, if anything, maybe it's in my book bag or something. But you like on my person, like you're doing a lot.
That is crazy. Not like a side personal notebook. She carries like the
Yeah,
actual composition joint. That is, you're
yeah,
right.
that was insane.
That's,
But yeah, I would just probably go with that if I had to choose.
okay. I got a few things. One, the bathtub scene. Innocent in our young kid eyes, but now that we have a doc called Quiet on Set about the specific pervs that worked at Nickelodeon, this along with the feet tattoos, eh, now it doesn't, it's a weird kind of thing now. It's a weird thing when you see that doc and then like look at the movie. So nothing, no knock to the movie, just how things age when you get the real inside information with the foot tattoos, all that. Uh, Another one, the parents, they were just ultra weak, and the kids are superior in this movie. I was like, I wish there was a little more pushback from the parents, but I get it. That's how they always write it in the Nickelodeon scope. And then lastly, the movie is called Harriet the Spy, but maybe I think that maybe they could have did a different title, maybe like Harriet the Writer or Harriet something else, because it's like she's spying to write, but it's not really built around spying. It's built around the writing. Everything's around the notebook. So it's like, it's more catchy to say spy because it's one syllable, but maybe a different title. But
But
this
you
is my,
know, it's based on a book.
oh well. Did the book focus more on the spying?
From what I've read, so there's a lot about the book online, like a lot of crazy stuff. Like I think it was actually banned in certain places
All that, yeah.
because of how Harriet was portrayed as like a disrespectful little, like it's they banned it some places because they said it's not kids to like lie to their parents or like disrespect their parents with like it was like some other stuff. So I feel like if you didn't like Harriet in the movie, you probably really won't like her in the book because I feel like they toned it down
Yeah.
for the movie, but mm,
Okay. Well, fair enough. Like you said, it was off that. I guess. Um. Well, since you're on the subject, Mia G, what's the moral of the story in your opinion?
so Mo.
Oh my God, she ain't gonna let me live this down, y'all. Just be fair. She's gonna be like, I can't believe this dude said.
So like Maurice
Oh no, oh no, hell
Government,
no, boy, y'all done up and done it.
government out here.
of the story is no one is perfect. People are complex, nuanced. I almost had a moral about the parents, but of course that all changed when I got to the ending scene about how just tough parenting is. But yes, nobody's perfect. We all make mistakes. We all like people are complex characters. It's very seldom that you meet somebody who is all bad or all good. Now, of course, there are people out there who fit those descriptions, but you just have to give people grace. There's a lot of complexity in human nature. I think this is one of the movies that kind of displays that more than any that I've seen. Like children's movies,
Oh yeah, this is up there.
like this one really just gets to the real grit of just human nature, people, how they interact and human interact. Like it, I love that there were no perfect characters in this movie. I
Yeah.
love how everybody was so flawed because that's real. People are flawed.
Okay, Ash. What about you? What's the moral story in your opinion?
So I said enjoy being a kid. Enjoy your friends. Just have fun and experience all you can while you're young. Enjoy the lack of responsibility
Oh my goodness.
aside from sport.
Man,
Just this movie was just it was so fun to me. It's like it did have its challenging moments, but like just the aspect of remembering being a kid where you didn't really have so much on your shoulder, so much to think about other than like going to school, do a good job. Just enjoy being a kid. So
Mm. Um, for me, the moral of the story is Mia G. Now, you don't have to say everything you're thinking. You don't have to write everything you see. And you don't have to react every time someone reacts. But act accordingly.
okay, I like both of that.
But that's that, so and that is our episode, man. What a fun episode. I gotta say this about you ladies. Now I really gotta dig deep because now I didn't thought about it. Y'all have pulled out some adolescent movies. I think Mia, you had this in A Christmas Story. Did you have any more of movies in this kind of more on the childish side? Other than obviously our animated ones, but like, did you?
oh man, I don't know.
I'm tripping like I don't have the whole thing right here. And then Ash, you had Cop and a Half, which was a excellent choice. And I guess we consider Miss Doubtfire. Do we consider that kind of
Yeah,
in the adolescent? So I think I actually had Home Alone. I had Jingle All the Way. So I think that's the only one that I have had. So now I got to really kind of dig in my bag because I haven't pulled from kind of the more childish side of things. So now I think about it because this and Christmas Story really gives some insight on who you are and kind of your taste in films as far as when you get into the childish side. And they're both so foreign to me and Ash, and in a good way. So it's like I'm enjoying this kind of left field, childish, adolescent style of films because they have such adult undertones and it's amazing. Because that Christmas Story was just a mind blowing moment. It was like, whoa, this is totally different. So yeah, shout out to y'all for y'all choices. But we are still in Diller's choice. And now the next pick will go to Ash. We do not pre-discuss our next films for genuine reaction. So I have no idea. Mia has no idea. So Ash, without further ado.
Okay, this was really hard for me. I was struggling. I had three choices I was debating on. And the third choice was a new ad. But I ended up landing on my first option. So we're going to 1999. And this man here had a crazy 90s run in film. No other than the Adam Sandler Big Daddy.
Oh, Big Daddy, yeah. I've been wondering when that was gonna get in the mix.
Yeah,
Big
man.
Daddy. How did you come to that conclusion? I'm so interested with Adam Sandler and Big Daddy being the choice.
This was my first choice. I thought about it a while ago. It's just a staple. I remember like watching this movie a lot and just loving the dynamic of Adam with the kid. And it was funny. Adam, he had that crazy run, bro. Like Water Boy, Wedding Singer, Happy Gilmore. Like, he just,
Yeah.
Gotta give Adam his flowers, and I don't know when we, would
You're
have
right. You're
got
right.
him in there. So since it is Dylan's choice, Big Daddy it is.
Mia, how
Big
you?
Daddy is a great comment. It's so funny. I literally just watched a reaction video to Big Daddy not too long ago, and I was like, I would love to talk of like. There's some good discussion around Daddy.
Yeah, yeah. Big Daddy might be. I ain't gonna say exact, but it might be in the vein of a Mrs. Doubtfire. Like loosely, kind of, we looking at the parental situation, kind of like okay, I'm very interested. I can't wait to get there. That is a great pick, and I'm interested to see what we think. And I can't wait to get in that Adam Sandler bag because he is one of our favorite guys. Yeah, I know we love Adam. Like so, but the street lights is coming on, so it's time for us to hop on our bikes and get back home before we get in trouble. Nobody wants to go on punishment. You can't, watch TV or play video games or whatnot. So we thank y'all for tuning in. Y'all can reach out, childishgrownups3@gmail.com, or hit us up on Instagram, childishgrownups, of course. See y'all next week in our next film with Big Daddy. Peace out.